Hi, this is Maria. I'm going to show you how to make this daily layout using Procreate brushes in the Procreate app, and then we'll save it as one big PNG file, a picture file, to bring it into Goodnotes. I found that if you add all of these elements, you can do some of this stuff, add stickers in Goodnotes, but it gives you some lag. You get less lag if you work in Procreate and bring in one large image and then just write on that. So that's what I like to do. So this is the 2019 DigiBujo by Jenny Gollan Designs. She is currently working on the next one. More info to come for 2020, but for now I'm still in the 2019. So this is just a daily spread, and let's get started. I'm going to tap my screen so I get my commands here from Goodnotes. This is Goodnotes5. I'm going to click my three dots at the top, clear the page. So we have a blank slate. I'm going to click this little up arrow, export this page, select image, and export. And I'm going to save that into my camera roll. That way I have this, the planner itself, to work in Procreate. I'm going to click add screen size just to get a nice big canvas. I'm going to click my wrench tool, add, insert photo, and I'm going to pick up that very last one we just saved, which is my journal page. Okay, it's my first layer. I'm going to click layers, add a layer, and we're going to go ahead and put in the background. So we're going to go to paintbrush and pick the brush pack called Valentine Patterns, and I want hand-drawn hearts. I'm going to pick a pretty blue. Let's go with that one. And with this kind of brush, you simply don't pick up your pen and just go over the entire screen. Now I'm going to use my arrow and just bring that within the confines of my journal. There's many ways to do this. We're just going to do it this way today. Okay, so there's a good big background, and I'm staying inside my journal. That's why I brought it over. I'm going to open my layers, click the N, and lower that opacity just so it's not so overpowering. Okay, so there's a pretty background. I'm going to add a layer, and let's bring in a daily spread. So I'm going to pick a darker color, dark blue, back to my pens, and I'm going to pick calendars because it brings me a nice big stamp for a daily. Now that one I'm going to tap on the screen and it gives me an instant daily. Use my arrow tool and just position that where I want it. Okay, it's a nice dark blue. If I find that my background is a little too dark, I can go back and adjust that opacity if it's just a little too busy, just so it blends back into that background again. Okay, I'm going to add another layer, back to my brushes, and I'm going to go to the new brush pack, planner stickers, and let's make a notebook. So I want a rectangle. I know there it is. I want that one. We're going to stay in that same dark blue, and I'm just going to guess at the size here. If it's too small, 2-finger tap erase, make it bigger. That's a good size. Add another layer. We're going to change to a pretty purple, and I'm going to make that just a tad smaller. Tap right in the center, and it's really close. I'm going to use my arrow tool to just make that the size that I want. This lighter purple is in its own layer, so I can do that. 2 layers here, the darker and the lighter. Let's add another layer. We'll add We'll go lighter and tap. Use my arrow. Again, that white, it's in its own layer. There we go. I'm going to pick a pretty purple. Back to my paintbrush. I'm still in planner stickers, and I'm going to find the planner coil. We're going to guess at the size and tap. Okay, if that's a little small, you can use your arrow tool to make that a little bigger until you like the size of your rings. You can also move them around, put them where you want them. Okay. Now, I'm going to add one more thing. We'll add it here. We'll keep that same color. I'm going to go back to my paintbrush. We're going to add one of these, list maker, in the center. Too big. 2-finger tap, erase. We'll make that smaller. Tap. Use my arrow to position. I'm not happy with that color, so we're going to go back to this color of the inner rectangle. We're going to click my layer, select, and fill, and that changed the color of that selected layer. I just think it matches a little better, so we'll leave it that way. Let's go back to this blue here. I believe was this one. And we'll just fill that. Just so we get a little bit of a matching effect. Let's go back to layers. Now I'm going to put all of these, the notebook itself, into a group. So I'm going to highlight the first one, slide, 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 slide everything I want to group together, and click group. Okay. Now when I select that check mark for the group, it's going to select everything. And if I actually highlight the group, I can move the whole group together. Okay. That is pretty neat. Arrow tool, and I can also size it together. That was group. You can also make the group, just hide it that way so you don't see all those layers there, just by clicking this little arrow. And you can also name the group and just do all kinds of things. Next, I want to add another layer. We'll go with the dark, a pretty dark blue. And I want a split monogram, the B, because that's my name. We're guessing at the size. Put that where you want it. Okay. I'm going to select lighter purple. Okay. And I'm going to duplicate, select, and fill with that lighter purple. So now I have a light one and a dark one. I'm going to move that light one underneath so that I can move it down a little. I'm creating a shadow, okay? And then I'm going to click my magic wand, Gaussian blur, and I'm just going to slide my pen across the screen to blur that purple. And I'm just making that blur really blurry or not so blurry. You see this little line grow. Okay, and then go back to my arrow, and I can still move that shadow. Now that shadow doesn't have to be purple. It can be black, it can be whatever color you want. I just find that the dark blue and the purple work well together. Get a little more blur. Okay, we'll drop that into place. Let's go back to the pretty blue that we had earlier. I'm going to go into my daily, select that as a reference, and I'm going to add a layer on top of the reference layer. So the daily is a reference, I added a new clean layer above it. And now since it's a reference, I'm going to fill within the lines of that reference layer. Oops, if you do that, 2-finger tap to erase. I'm just going inside the little squares. Another thing is I'm not picking up my pen. If you find that your threshold is too high, you'll flood your screen. So long as, notice my pen has not picked up. So long as you don't pick up your pen, you can fix the threshold. Just move it back down towards the left until you don't go outside of the line of your box, okay? If you fill your little square and you can't figure out why, it's probably your threshold, okay? So you're safe as long as you don't pick up the pen. Or you can 2-finger tap. Don't pick up your pen and slide left, and we fix it, okay? All right, we're still, the daily is still a reference layer. We're gonna add another clean layer. We'll go with a pretty purple, darker purple, and we're gonna fill, just slide that threshold down. Because see, there's 2 little layers there for that little label. And just fill what you want to fill, and don't fill what you don't. That one's too big. I'm going to 2-finger tap because I picked up my pen, and I'm going to slide until I see the outline. Okay, there we go. Let's see, what else do I want to do here? Let's go another layer. Let's go with a darker pink, and we'll go back to my planner stickers and add another label. This one will give me a solid. This one will give me just an outline. I think I want the solid. And we're just going to plop that here. But notice I covered the today, so we're going to go back to my daily. Let's turn this new sticker off for a second. Back to the daily, take my eraser. I'm just using a standard airbrush, pretty big size, and I'm just going to erase the word today. If you erase your line, 2-finger tap, and just be a little more careful with your erasing. Okay, I just want the word gone. And now I can go back and turn this back on and size that to however I want it to be. Okay, I'm going to leave it blank so that I can reuse this and change the day. I'm going to write in Thursday in this case, but if I leave it blank, once I'm in Goodnotes, I can reuse this over and over. When you save these, you're not tied to one day. Try to make it generic so you can just save it in your camera roll and use it over and over. If you like it, why not use it over and over? So I'm going to leave that day, that available to write in a day, but I'm going to leave it blank. Let's see what else. Let's add another layer. We'll go back to the stickers and let's put a little tag. This one. I'm going to play with the size. We'll just add a little tag on the side here. Okay, we can add, let's put this in another layer. We'll add a second one. Now I did it in a second layer so I can move it easily. So we're going to make it appear as if it's one. That first one, we lost the little edge there, so I'm going to bring it back. Now once I'm happy with the placement, I'm going to merge those two together. Okay, so that's one layer now. Okay, I'm going to slide and duplicate and put another one up here. Okay, I like to do things in twos or pairs just so I have some continuity between one side of my journal and the other. You certainly don't have to do that, but I like to do that. Now one more thing, I'm going to, so this first one is attached to the little journal, so I'm going to move that so that it is part of my little group. I just moved it inside the group layer. This one is not in the group layer. But now, when I select the group layer, the little tag will move with it. Okay. All right. Let's go back. We'll add another layer. And we'll pick a darker red just because I think it's pretty. We're going to add some, let's see, let's add a little heart. There's a heart circle in here. And I'm just going to actually touch the dots so that I'm skipping a dot between just for placement of my circles. If you don't have dots, then you kind of have to guess at where your design is going to go. You can always use the selector tool and arrow if you're moving inside of the same layer. Since I didn't put those on different layers, I can do it that way. Oops, doggone it. I can do it that way. Sorry, didn't mean to move my screen here. Like, see, these are a little spread out, so I can move that just a little bit so that I have room for another one. Just make them fit. Select, whoops, your finger tap, select them all. There we go. Okay, so there's that. And let's add another layer, and we are going to add some text in here. So wrench tool, add text, edit style. I'm going to pick Cindy Light, and we'll, let's see, I'm going to play with the size of this text, see if I like it, because I want it to go in here. So, let's see, that's a good size. Alright, so now I'm going to click back on the little keyboard. That's my name. We'll drop that. Okay, we're going to go to a dark blue. And wrench tool, add text. We're still in Cindy Light. I'm going to move this little text box so that I can size it inside. Select the whole text so I can make sure it's going to fit where I want it to fit. Go a little tiny bit smaller. Okay. Back to my text, and we're going to call that priorities. See, it's overrunning my little square, so I'm going to double tap to select the whole word, edit style, and we'll just make it fit inside. Okay, so now since I like the size of that, the text, I don't want to have to play with that all over again for my other labels. I'm going to slide and duplicate and just change the word this way. So I'm going to unselect the arrow, double tap, and fix it. Okay. And then slide and duplicate, and we'll just keep doing that. Unselect, double tap, and this one will be shopping. And slide and duplicate, and this one unselect, double tap, and that one will say tomorrow. Okay. If you find something that's a little bit off, just select your layer and fix it. Okay, let's go add another layer, just a little bit of pretties. We'll go back to that red, and I'm going to use hand-drawn dividers for this little flower. And I'm just going to add a little detail here at the bottom, just for cuteness. Selector tool and place it where I want it. Okay. Alright, once you're happy with your design, you're going to go to your layers, go all the way to the bottom, turn off your journal, turn off your background white layer, wrench tool, share, PNG, save the image, that puts it into your camera roll. You're going to go back into Goodnotes to that blank page we had, click your little pen tool, the little picture icon will bring you the last picture. Here is the last one you used, or you can select it here, or you can select it from wherever it is that you saved it from. But we know that we saved the very last picture is what it is. Tap and crop. I'm going to take out some of this gray matter. Click done.
Hey, I'm going to Chick-fil-A. You want anything?
No, but I'm recording.
Okay. Do the viewers want any Chick-fil-A?
No, I'm going to have to edit you out now.
No, you should leave it in. Chick-fil-A run.
Bye, Tom.
You sure?
Bye,
Mom.
Okay, so, and we're just going to size this to fit. pen tool to drop it into place. And as you can see, it fits very nicely inside my original journal. Now I'm going to pick my pen tool. I'm going to pick a white ink just because I want to write inside of here. And Cindy Light is the same text I had before. Let's see, this default, it's already my default. I'm going to tap and type in Thursday. And of course I can change that. I left it blank intentionally so that I can use this over and over. And let's see, one more thing. I'm going to leave my settings, change the color, and type my little signature. You can find me on Instagram. Okay, now use your lasso. Just make sure that images is turned off so you don't move that big sticker. And resize. And recolor. And I am done. That's my layout for the day. Thanks for watching.